Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trump Tyranny Tracker. It's Monday, July 14th at 2 p.m. How are you, Olga Lautman? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Busy, working,
Yeah.
writing,
It's
tracking.
tracking. It's day 176 of the Trump administration, just 4 days shy of the 180 mark we've been looking at so closely. And we should get to some of the news, if you don't mind, right at the top of the show. There's the new announcement today. Ooh, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I hear lots of weird music. There you go. It's off now.
Kremlin gremlins.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I call them.
exactly. It's actually nice music, so it might be a good backing track for what we're about to talk about. The tariffs that we've now seen announced or the threat of announcement, and also this new deal with Ukraine regarding these NATO Patriot missiles. Tell me your thoughts about that and how significant a shift this really is for Donald Trump.
Well, like I said before, this is field like Trump is being pulled between two different intelligence agencies. You have the Israelis on one hand pulling him in his orbit, and you have the Russians trying to pull them back into their orbit. We saw this happening with Iran, and with Trump announcing the resuming of shipments that should have never been stopped, because this is, what Trump got impeached for the first time, stopping congressionally approved aid. It was interesting that announcement took place with Netanyahu there. So clearly they got, Netanyahu got to him. And that's it. This does look real. I mean, the Russians are pissed. They have been pissed from the chatter, from the information operations. But again, it's, we'll see how long this lasts. The fact that the tariffs are 50 days away, I mean, there's a reason Trump, earned the taco nickname. So we'll see what happens in 50 days. The Senate has, a very strong tariff package with, I believe, now 85 co-sponsors. But Trump, is not passing it. And Lindsey Graham is the biggest champion for it. It's a bipartisan effort. And right now, Trump is still holding back on doing this. It is interesting. We'll see where it goes, that the Senate, part of their defense budget for 26, included, and it passed through the committee, $500 million of aid to Ukraine. So we'll see where that goes. And as far as weapons, I mean, we'll see. With Trump, again, I'm waiting for Patrushev and Medvedev. Like last time, he strayed off out of line, to come out and threaten him. So we'll see where it goes. I mean,
how much of the threat against him is being played out right now with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that we're seeing being released clearly by somebody? There's a lot of Epstein leaks happening all over the place. How much of that is Russia already reacting to some of this?
The Russians are involved in this operation. They are involved since Iran. They have taken a shift in their information operations. And since Iran, they have, you see, the information activity against Trump. So it involved Iran. They were running information operations on World War III, and that, Trump is betraying his base by promising no more wars and then starting a war. You saw all the Western shows, like
Russia
must have sent him an emergency email, like get out right now,
Yeah.
and make a statement, do a podcast. And you saw Tucker Carlson and all the Russian aligned shows who have been running information operations for them in U.S. and Europe all come out like within 24 hours of Trump announcing, that he was thinking of hitting Iran. Then came the Musk party announcement, and Russia has been doing a lot of operations on that and trying to amplify that. And, it's more to cause more chaos and division here. And then since the Epstein thing, since Elon mentioned the Epstein thing a few weeks ago, I mean, it's hilarious because, like, Russian chatter, they never cared about Epstein amongst themselves. And here they are, now discussing, oh, why is the government withholding this information? And this is all being pushed out to us. So, I mean, if you go on Twitter, you see the actual natural MAGA base that is fighting about it. And then you will see under each comment, 1,500, 2,000 comments, and I will guarantee you that a large majority of that is Russia, you know,
So they
pushing
might not
this.
have very much to respond ultimately to left in their in their arsenal against Trump. If this is all their stuff that they're putting out right now,
No, they have plenty.
do you think there's still a lot more that they could unleash on him, and he knows that?
Well, they could unleash, but more so it's their operations because, what's effective is not their blackmail, it's the operations. And they know how to find the smallest wedge and turn it into a complete mess where to the point that it just, causes the biggest chaos. So, I mean, this is where, as far as information, Trump is very good at deflecting anything. So anything that comes out that they put out, whether it's laundering tens of millions of dollars through his properties for decades for them, whether it's, the many things he's been involved in personally. For me, I don't look at the personal stuff as much as the financial crimes
Really?
because this is exactly where the crimes are. I remember the Steele dossier with the P tape, that a bunch of girls in Moscow peed all over the bed. There's no crime. If Trump wants to have 100 girls peeing on a bed, he's
go for it, yeah.
prerogative. The crimes are in the financial, in the agreements, in various, arrangements that are made to interfere in U.S. politics. And then obviously the conspiracy in 2016. How long ago was that planned? Before 2016 between Trump and, his Kremlin-linked things. Oligarchs. So, I mean, this is, so Trump, if they release any kind of compromise, he'll deflect it. He'll say fake news. This is, fake and whatever. But if they are good at running operations, and I mean, if they see Americans fighting over lettuce, you will see a whole full-blown information warfare on lettuce in order to split people up.
But Trump is playing a very dangerous game here. Ultimately, he's sort of letting potentially Russia go.
Let me just answer. Being a pedo is a crime, but it's out of the statute of limitations. So anything that would come out right now would not be criminally. He wouldn't be criminally liable because it's out of the statute of limitations.
So what I was asking there is about the game he's playing. I mean, he's sort of letting Russia do this to him. He's gambling that it's okay that he can sustain all this hit that he's about to get from Russia and still maintain enough of a position within the base to continue governing, even though he's going to be losing, clearly, some of that base. It's a very tricky game politically to be playing and very difficult to win.
I don't think he's playing it. I think he fell into it. I don't think he has a strategy because you even see with his base. I am pretty sure that there is panic with people in his orbit, who are panicked of this very, very public fighting that is happening, splitting his base. So, I mean, I don't think that it's something he chose to gamble. I think this is something that, he just fell into. And there's only so many times a con artist can be backed against the, can weave himself out before being backed against the wall. And in this case, he's getting backed against the wall.
But ultimately, it is better news for Ukraine. I mean, they're getting weapons. It seems like it's not great news, but it's better news.
Look, Trump did so much damage to Ukraine this year that, yes, they'll have some defense weapons coming, but it's not going to change what is happening on the front lines. I mean, the only thing, which, again, grateful if it happens. The only thing is to defend against apartment buildings being hit at night while people are sleeping. But it's not going to change anything. And if you look at the trajectory since Trump came back, Russia has launched more drones and missiles than in the 2.5 years of the full-scale invasion. So he has given them such a path to escalating their genocidal war, on top of cutting intelligence sharing from Ukrainians, on top of cutting these defense missiles defense weapons sitting in Poland. So just because he's releasing 10 or whatever amount of Patriots, this is not going to turn the war around. I mean, the
Yeah.
war, in order to end this, Russia needs to be defeated. If they're defeated, they'll crawl away, lick their wounds, overthrow their dictator, and go put a new, thug in power. And then the West can kind of take that time to catch up and to, prepare and go on the offensive instead of constantly being on the defense with Russia's operations.
That is a terrific analysis, as always, from Olga Lautman of Unmasking Russia and Trump Tyranny Tracker. Great stuff. Thank you so much for sharing your insights there. Let's get into the tracker for today. Emil Bove, Trump's former defense lawyer and current DOJ official, refused to denounce the January 6th insurrection or say that a third Trump term would violate the Constitution in his Senate questionnaire for appeals court nomination. He also defended dropping the Eric Adams case, which sparked DOJ resignations. Trump's personal attorney is now being positioned to control the federal appeals court system. It's kind of stunning to think this guy is getting such a senior appointment. What is going on here?
I mean, this is incredible. Last week we had a whistleblower, not only say, but provide documents that Bove basically, when it came to the courts, basically said, tell the courts, fuck you. I mean, this is the man who is, right now being nominated and going through Senate confirmation hearings for a lifetime appointment to the court. And his answer was, tell the courts, fuck you. Ignore the court rulings, defy the Supreme Court. And now you have this information that, he refused. And again, this is not a whistleblower. This is his own Senate questionnaire that he filled out that he refused. I mean,
it is. I mean, it's his answers. And they're kind of stunning. They're bold-faced answers that are just, contrary to the Constitution. Talking about a third term. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Third term or an insurrection.
Yeah. Oh, you froze there a little bit.
Insurrection is also not only a criminal offense, but it's also unconstitutional.
Yeah. And to have this man who's a defender of insurrectionists just at this position of appeals court is just such a slight against democracy, obviously. In the second story, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, declared ICE and Border Patrol don't need probable cause to detain people briefly, just articulable facts like appearance or location. Civil rights groups called this false and dangerous, especially amid mass raids in California, and it essentially eliminates Fourth Amendment protection for anyone who might look undocumented, whatever that might mean. What is it? What kind of facts can you even provide when you have your enforcement people are covered in masks?
Well, this, is exactly what we've been witnessing. This is racial profiling on steroids. I mean, any brown person or a black person, just yank them off the streets, disappear them, ask questions later. Are they American, not American?
Yeah.
And this is why we see so many Americans being detained by ICE, including that they detained a disabled veteran late last week, who they disappeared. His family couldn't find him for days. So, I mean, here you have basically Holman saying exactly what the policy is, which, again, last time I checked, it's unlawful to go and target people based on what they look like, or the location. So, I mean, if you're a brown person shopping in Home Depot, that gives ICE the right to say, oh, look, he's brown, he's in Home Depot, let me grab him, hold him, disappear him for days, weeks, and let him try to prove whether he is undocumented, documented, TPS, American-born citizen. I mean, this is lawlessness. This is what this is, complete lawlessness.
It reminds me of South Africa, where there was once a law in the books where, because you couldn't really need to prove very much, the only thing they needed to prove was whether someone was of a certain race. So they put a pencil through someone's hair to determine whether their race was either black or white or mixed, as it were. And that was enough to determine what happened to them. It's the same kind of ridiculousness. It's just, oh, you look a little bit like that, so you must be guilty.
Yep. No, it's 100%. It's outrageous. It's lawless, and we need to really push back against this. And Tim just said, about the citizenship. Actually, within the next hour, I'm just finishing editing, and I'm putting an article out on denaturalization, threatening American-born citizens, TPS. I mean, really, since the day that we started this, we have been saying immigrants are the test case.
Yeah.
It starts with immigrants, ends with the Rosie O'Donnell, or, denaturalizing the Office of Reimmigration, where they want to ethnically cleanse America and make it white. So this is, what is happening. And luckily, they're not taking years. They're taking months to show what their true intentions are, and they haven't solidified power enough. So we really need to push back on this because it's outrageous.
So there's more news from the Department of Justice. Attorney General Pam Bondi purged at least 20 justice...
Laura Loomer, Blondie. She renamed her.
That's a great one, actually. Purged at least 20 Justice Department officials tied to former special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into Trump. Many were not prosecutors, but support staff and U.S. Marshals. A DOJ weaponization working group led by extremist Ed Martin identified the targets. This represents systemic elimination, obviously, of anyone who investigated Trump's crimes, but it's the support staff? Really?
The purge continues.
Yeah.
Anyone who is not fully aligned with Trump's extremist agenda or who was involved in anything Russia-related, investigating the insurrection, investigating the documents case, because apparently it's Trump, claims that it's perfectly fine to steal top classified documents, have them sitting in your ballroom. So anyone involved is a target. And the fact is that this weaponization group is being run by a Russian asset. Ed Martin appeared over 250 times on Russian state TV, spewing garbage about everything, including attacking the U.S. intelligence agency, U.S. role in assisting Europe and Ukraine. This is who is running this weaponization, new task force, while they shut down actual real task force, to track counterterrorism and whatnot. So this is who is putting these lists together. And again, now they're going after the easy targets. Soon it's going to be, Russia's going to send a list. Here, can you get rid of these people? They investigated our roles in various things or sanctions evasions and whatnot.
Let's move on to the story you mentioned a while ago, Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship, because Trump has said that he's considering taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship because she's not in the best interests of the United States. This would be unconstitutional, of course, but as O'Donnell was born in the United States, this can't happen to her. But the threat represents Trump testing whether he can strip citizenship from critics, even if they're citizens, a power no president has ever claimed. We've certainly seen him try to do this with other forms of permanent residence and other kinds of people, but citizens, and that's the final frontier, obviously, and he can't do this. There's no law that lets him do this.
Well, again, he can't do this, but someone has to stop him. And he's this is so now you have two things happening. You have Trump threatening O'Donnell, which we all knew. When they say they came for them and we looked the other way, and on and on and on, and then they came for us. This is what is happening. First, it's undocumented immigrants, and then it ends up with a Rosie O'Donnell, born, I believe, in New York. But two things are happening. One, he's threatening, unconstitutionally to strip citizenship away from someone who was born in the U.S. But at the same time, how many times has he threatened already to send U.S. born citizens to gulags in El Salvador or Sudan or Libya or other places if they're dangerous criminals.
Yes.
Who defines what a dangerous criminal? Because for him, apparently, someone like Rosie O'Donnell is a dangerous criminal. Anyone who speaks out against this regime is a dangerous criminal. So, I mean, this goes hand in hand with one, them threatening to disappear, U.S. citizens born to overseas, and two, threatening to revoke citizenship from a U.S. born citizen.
Now, SCOTUS is back the first one of those scenarios, and they've said that it's okay to send people to South Sudan and other foreign prisons. The thing about Rosie O'Donnell that's kind of stunning to me is this is a long time beef of him and her. Like, it's been going on for years, if not decades. And it's the alignment between what he sees as U.S. interests and his own interests are just colliding, and you can sort of see that authoritarianism bent just happening in real time as he just thinks anyone who's attacked him ever is an enemy of the United States.
But that is exactly what he did say. He campaigned on this.
Yeah.
Adam Schiff is an enemy of the people. The media is an enemy of the people. Anyone who holds it, tries to hold him or anyone in the government accountable is an enemy of the people. So this is exactly what he campaigned on. I mean, this is a very Stalin-esque thing.
Mm-hmm.
Russia, Putin does it now. Taking from his predecessor. So this is, something that he wants to test out here. And we're seeing it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I would dismiss something like this if it was 2017 and, we actually had a normal Supreme Court. And at that time, Congress was semi-normal. At least they weren't fully captured. I'd be like, okay, this is bluster. But I mean, he's actually taking actions to do these things. I mean, we see green card holders being stripped of citizenship. A New Hampshire man who's had the green card went to Canada and is not being allowed to return. After spending 4 decades in this country.
Yeah.
So I mean, we are seeing him test these limits. We are seeing him, his ICE thugs, mass thugs running around grabbing American citizens and detaining them, disappearing them, not giving them access to a lawyer until finally someone, there's enough noise made about it. So that's why I take it serious because, that's why I take it serious. And someone just asked the Office of Reimmigration. This is a new State Department office that basically, I mean, goes after the far right ideology, the extremist ideology, Nazi ideology of cleansing a country to bring everyone here who is here to follow the ideals of this country and the values, whatever these values.
Yeah, they seem changing all the time. Yeah.
Trump's values I'm supposed to follow, or you're supposed to, or anyone. So I mean, this Office of Reimmigration is extremely frightening because they're working. It's not just a new office that the State Department Rubio set up while he gutted USAID and every other office, but they're working hand in hand with Department of Homeland Security.
So this issue obviously is a big one for you. Keep raising it. What should people do, particularly about this issue, about this office? What steps should they be taking?
Call Congress. Call Congress. Call your local officials. Call your attorney general. Call everyone. Sign petitions. I am still in shock. And this is a failure of our media. How many people I've spoken to about the Office of Reimmigration or denaturalization, and they don't even know that it's happening because the media should be blaring about this, not Laura Loomer. Yes, it's fun to watch, MAGA infighting. That's wonderful. But frankly, I think it is more dangerous for this country of people, it being a priority to fast track denaturalizing people. That affects 25 million Americans.
Exactly.
Or an Office of Reimmigration or the concentration camps that we have, that right now you see in Florida, and they're bragging how they have 5 more in the works. I mean, these are bigger issues that the media should be covering instead of the nonsense that they cover.
And that is why everyone should be following the Trump Tyranny Tracker, Olga Lautman's amazing daily tracker of authoritarian creep, and also Unmasking Russia. And tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we have the 7th. Is it 7th? My gosh. In our sessions of Authoritarianism 101, what do we have tomorrow night for our paid subscribers?
I believe it is weaponizing law enforcement, but I have to double check because we've shifted because we got delayed on a few. I put out the program for all the weeks, and it'll be marked, and I'll refresh it again on Substack. And you have it, I'm sure, in your narrative.org. But we've shifted several times because we got
they're great sessions. They keep going longer and longer on each topic. So, what we'll end up doing is sort of one a day instead of the two initially that we planned per session. But I think you're right about the law thing because we never got to it last week. So I think that's the one that we're going to be doing this week. And if people
it's on the timeline, we'll definitely have something. But yeah, these sessions are great because it literally addresses every single one of these tactics, delves into it, and plus we get to actually see and hear from people instead of seeing names. Just scrolling. We actually get to meet people and have
it's time
conversations
to talk
with people.
Yeah, it's great. It really is really enlightening, and it tells us exactly what the mood is on the ground in so many parts of America. Is there anything else you wanted to mention for tonight's shows, or is there any other stories you wanted to throw in?
The only other story that I wanted to throw in was the Epstein story because I think it's not about Epstein itself, but the fact that the Department of Justice, in order to provide evidence, quote unquote, to pacify the MAGA base, released a video, and according to Wired, they say that the video was altered and that it was processed, reprocessed, reframed, and the fact, not more so that it's Epstein, but the fact that this continues to happen, where we have U.S. law enforcement, Department of Justice, which used to be gold standard around the world, the Pentagon when it came to Iran, the fact that they are fabricating or releasing partial information or intelligence, this should worry
Where was
us
this
all.
tape? Why did it suddenly appear after 6 years? They told us all along, there's no tape, and now there's a tape, and now it appears to be doctored, and there's other suggestions that the things were on the tape that we've not seen before yet, so, and maybe it was as much as 3 minutes that are missing from the tape. There's just so much that we don't know about the authenticity of this tape. It's really troubling. And of course, we know
from Department of Justice.
It's official Department of Justice evidence.
Yeah, it didn't just float out, of nowhere. And for me, the bigger issue is, again, the tactics being used, because when people start, altering agencies, start altering intelligence, we're in a problem. We have a problem. And this is happening with the Pentagon. It happened with Iran. It's happening with Epstein. It's happening with the economy, where people, fear that the Department of, Labor Statistics, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, intentionally, unintentionally might be releasing, reports that are glowing to the regime. I mean, this is we're in
Kremlin,
Russian territory.
so Kremlin. It's just
this
is the playbook.
Russian territory. Every single agency, whatever the reports are, they're always matching the agenda of the Kremlin. And I mean, again, our economy is a gold standard, and if we are fabricating job reports, inflation reports, and everything else, again, we'll hit a major problem. So.
Yeah, we're definitely messing with the truth. That is the Trump Tyranny Tracker for today. I'll be back in about 30 minutes with Dean Blundell for 5 Stack, and we shall see you then, the top 5 stories of the day. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Trump Tyranny Tracker at 2 p.m. Don't forget to sign up to the Trump Tyranny Tracker.substack.com and narrative.org. And have a great day, Olga. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, everybody.